That makes sense?
Yeah. So you are saying we need to develop some criteria for every department to purchase stuffs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I'd like to throw out some of the challenges, right? So
Yeah.
how many departments are on campus?
I don't know.
1, 2, 10,
Like
10
20?
departments?
20,
20.
30?
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess.
probably more than that.
Well,
Lots of departments.
Yeah.
And they all operate independently.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, on this
So-
campus, we have an East Campus and the West Campus. The West Campus can care less what's going on at the nursing, Department of Nursing, right? So that's one of the challenges, is that we have all these departments
Mm-hmm.
that don't talk to each other,
Yeah.
that are all independent, that are all making independent decisions. And there's 5 people in my staff. Do I have to go and knock on each door at 100 different departments? Or is there something else that we could do that would be more effective than knocking on each door? Knock, knock, hello, I'm Dale from Diversity. Who are you? We just come by to see what you're spending on. I don't know. We don't know you. So what are strategies? What are some of the strategies that we could do? And looking back at what else? What was the other part of it, Shauna? Are we looking at numbers too?
Yeah, we need to provide maybe some data to the group for
Mhm.
those items, right? Because it says the office will provide data for university purchases. So I don't know, are they going to be using that data that we usually get from Jeremiah or Dan or whoever we get that information from? And just kind
Mhm.
of looking at that as a baseline or help them with their.
Yeah. So yeah, and then how do measurements, right? This is a university.
Mm-hmm.
How do we measure how well you do things? Numbers, right? We always use numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to have a metrics to measure how well we're doing. Otherwise, they say, how's your department doing? Oh, we're doing well. Based on what? How you feel that day? Because it's sunny outside? What should we be looking at? Probably the most obvious one will be how much we actually spend.
Mm-hmm.
So dollar amounts, how much are we spending on small purchases under $100,000 as a whole, as a university? And then we can break it down. Can we find out how much each department is spending? So then we can customize each,
Mm-hmm.
before we get to the total, maybe we need to look at each department, or maybe by campus. How much is University of Illinois in Champaign spending versus University of Illinois in Chicago? And then if you want to go more granular, then departments, academic departments, department athletics, maybe the medical school, the hospital. So many ways to dissect the numbers. So maybe you can think about what kind of numbers should we be looking at? What kind of numbers do you need? How often should we look at them? Should we look at it on a monthly basis or quarterly basis or semi-annual, annual basis? Don't have to answer that now. Just think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is part of the project. It's what getting your head around.
Mm-hmm.
So the overall objective. So we're looking at that, and then we're also looking at numbers. How do we measure it? Because I know the first question I would get if I went to College of Dentistry across the street, and I come there and I say, "Hey, College of Dentistry, how you doing? Dale Morrison, Diversity. Hey, you guys, we want you guys to spend more with Hispanic-owned businesses or whatever." And the first question is, "How much are we spending now?" Never looked at that before. And I'll say, I don't know. So that's the first question, right? Was what are we doing now? And if we're doing better, maybe we can do that as a baseline and say, well, today we're spending this much. A year from now, do we spend more or do we spend less? If we spend more, maybe we can say we are being as effective. But if we don't know how much we're spending right now, how do we know if we're doing good or bad?
Yeah.
So we need to maybe establish a baseline first. And then once we have the baseline in place, then we can measure on a quarterly, semi-annual basis.
Where can we get the data? Where can we get the
The data.
procurement data?
Yes. And that's another issue, right?
Yeah.
So where is the data stored? The University of Illinois uses, we call it a ERP system. Every company has an ERP system, right? It's, every company, it's a financial management system. It's where all your financial data is stored. Typically, that's where your check is being cut. Like if you're an employee, how much do you get paid? Who's paying that money? You know, how much? What accounts are those monies being paid from? All the budgeting takes place in the ERP system. So it also houses who we're doing business with. So for a department, normally when somebody orders, they have to put a purchase order in to purchase something. That purchase order eventually gets to the ERP system. It gets logged in there. And so all that data is stored there. The problem is that everybody doesn't have access to the ERP system.
Yes.
Or everybody doesn't know how to use it. So we do have a person in Champaign, and he is very booked. They need more people. But it's a gentleman named Jeremiah that we utilize if we need reports run, and it's very cumbersome. It's very hard to get those numbers out. But if we ask him for it, he can eventually get them for us. The Business Enterprise Act, that law that we talked about, is called the BEP program. That's a state program that oversees us. It requires us to report on an annual basis our spending with minority, women-owned businesses, and so forth. So we have to run a report every year for the state. So we do get it at least that much. And then the Board of Trustees want to know too. So we report to the Board of Trustees every quarter. So we do a quarterly report for the Board of Trustees. But that only gives us an overall number, but it doesn't break down what departments are doing, or it doesn't break down small purchases versus large purchases. It just gives us one big one big number. So we would like to get better information. So we can maybe work with Jeremiah. Whatever we come up with, what we think we should do in terms of what kind of data we need, then we can present it to their department in Champaign, and they can get the information for us. Questions? Are you good? You understand?
Yeah, I understand.
You got it?
Yeah. I'm just not really sure why we focus on the 10,000 to 100,000 is because of the state law?
Yeah.
Or just because our university want we focus on these numbers?
For us, we as a department wanted to focus on those numbers because we think that the $10,000 to $100,000 is a good starting point. What happens is, like we said, if it goes over $100,000, everybody can bid on it, and that's a lot. That's a big number. Anything over $100,000 can be $10 million.
Yeah.
It could be a $100 million contract. Well, a lot of the women, minority-owned firms, they can never bid on $100 $100 million project. They're
So,
too small.
Yeah.
But they can do business on a $100,000 contract. So for us, that's a great opportunity for the businesses that we're targeting. That's a great opportunity for them to get, as if they get their feet wet at the university, to get an opportunity here, because they can handle $100,000. They can handle a $50,000 project. They'll be happy to get a $50,000 project. You know, think about it. If you're starting out, $50,000, wow, that's a lot of money. But $50,000 to Dell, that's nothing.
Yeah.
You know, they're doing billions of dollars. But for a small business or a minority-owned business, a $50,000 contract is pretty significant. And it also gives them an opportunity to get to know people at the university. So a lot of times our decisions to purchase things is based upon my relationship with you. So meaning that if I don't know you, I'm not going to buy anything from you. So if I'm buying business cards, for example, somebody provided me these business cards. And this young lady here, I don't know your name, but she comes to my office and says, Dale, I just opened my new business card company. I sell business cards. And my point is, I'm already buying business cards already from whoever. But you want my business. But I said, I don't know you. So it's important that I get to know her. So how do I get to know her? How can I trust that she's going to give me a good business card if I don't know you? I've never done business with you before. But I'm doing business with this company over here already. Guess what? She has to get to know me in order to get my trust, so that the next time I order my business cards, I'm going to use your company. So that's what happens on the small purchases to $100,000. If the department doesn't know your business, they're not going to order from you. So how do we get more exposure for your companies to that guy sitting over there in that building, in that office on the 5th floor? How is he ever going to buy from you if he doesn't know you?
Yeah, right.
Right. But you got to, because you can't bid on the $1 million contract. So we got to find a way to get you to that guy up there on the 5th floor.
So we have some ways we do that, right? We do outreach, we try to get different diverse vendors certified so that they can do business with the university. How else do we really help those people connect with the university?
Shauna, can you describe what outreach means? What does that mean?
So the outreach, the networking, the training, the informational sessions, the presentations that we, the events that we hold, those kind of things, that's what we consider outreach, reaching out to the community members and the different departments to help them learn more about the diverse procurement process.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we reach those vendors that don't have those relationships?
Right.
Besides outreach, are there other things that we can